you feel comfortable, Justice?
No. This is not the most suitable position for introverts. You can ask it. We like to be in the shadows someplace.
In 2018, the Library of Congress held an event entitled A Conversation with Justice Clarence Thomas. It was an upbeat interview by Judge Gregory Maggs of the U.S. Armed Forces Court of Appeals. The starting point? The hero who had most inspired Justice Thomas, and to whom the title of his memoir, My Grandfather's Son, is dedicated.
I just get worn down. I was with a young woman who happened to be black in Kansas recently, and she said something really interesting. She said, I'm really tired of having to play the role of being black. I just want to go to school. And I think at some point, we're going to be fatigued with everybody being a victim. When I was a kid, there were tons of people who were in really bad circumstances. My grandfather would not let us wallow in that. And as you could tell throughout this book, he's my hero. He is the single greatest human being I've ever met, with 9 months of education. But he never saw himself as a victim. He used to say that he was a motherless child. He never knew his father. His mother died when he was 7 or 8 years old. Of course, they didn't have birth certificates then, so he never knew quite how old he was. And then he was raised by his grandmother, who was a freed slave. Then she dies, and then he lives with an uncle who has 12 or 13 kids, and who was a hard man. And yet, he never complained. And he always said, he would have this saying, when you'd want to whine or something, he said, you know, you have to play the hand you're dealt.
The justice went on to detail how, in a world of total illiteracy, one thing kept them going.
But the thing that they had was this hope that the next generation would learn how to read.
And the last thing they would ever do was whine about their lot.
I was very fortunate to grow up around people who saw beyond their circumstances and who refused to be limited by those circumstances or to wallow in the sort of victim status of their circumstances.
Today, of course, things are different. Politicians continually push the narratives of victimhood, and this has fed directly to the federal bench through what's become a highly politicized process for confirming judges.
I don't think the process is what it ought to be. I think that these are serious jobs, and I think they should be serious. I don't think they should become spectacle. This is not the Roman Colosseum. We're not gladiators. And I think we're going to lose some of our best people who choose not to go through the ordeal. They don't want to have to fight the lion in order to be a judge or to be in government. And I think it's our own fault for allowing this to happen. I was confirmed 5 times in 10 years, and it got increasingly worse. And I think that we are going to, at some point, have the leadership we deserve.
For Justice Thomas, many of his most powerful contributions have not come through majority opinions. They have instead come from his dissents, his concurrences, and his comments on denial of cert. Without doubt, he writes significantly more opinions than other justices.
Justice Scalia said I was solipsistic. So I said, Nino, I have no idea what that means, but I like the ring of it. I don't know. I think it is really important that when you vote for these things, that you explain why. And that if it doesn't make sense, my granddaddy, I'm not going to use the words he used exactly, but he would say, boy, if it don't make no sense, it don't make no sense. Of course, he would spice it up a little bit. And, you know, things have to make sense to me. When you come from the lower levels in society, poverty, things have to make sense. My granddaddy, you have to feed, either you fed the hogs or you didn't feed the hogs. You either greased the tractor or you didn't grease the tractor. You either planted the corn or you didn't plant the corn. It was binary. It was clear. And I think when we do these cases, we owe it to our fellow citizens to explain in plain language what we are doing. And sometimes when you see me writing, it's because what the court is doing, the premise, I think, disagree with, and I think it's wrong.
In the final segment of his interview with the Library of Congress, he was asked what had changed in his judging over 30 years.
You know, it's sort of like if you climb a mountain. When you're at 1,000 feet, you see something. You still look at the same scenery, but you have a different view from when you're at 10,000 feet or 5,000 feet. You see more. I've been doing this so long that you see more. You understand more.
And it's only that wisdom, the wisdom that comes with age and experience, that Justice Thomas says makes them a safe pair of hands with the Constitution.
It's what you and I do when we teach constitutional law together. Look at all the cases we've read. Look at how much in depth we've read those cases. I mean, how many people who care about Trop v. Dulles? Right. You and I do. You and I care about it. Flass v. Cohen. Yeah, they cite it, but they don't read it. You and I do. We have to. Why? Because we're messing with other people's constitution. Another metaphor would be you're peeling the onion. And you understand, you see more. Not because you're smarter or because people love to set themselves up as philosopher kings or something. No, it's because you've been doing it longer. This is what I do.